learning about relationships and boys and, wanting to be down, like, you put yourself in situations that maybe you shouldn't be in through being in different relationships. And one situation in particular, it brought me to like my lowest point. And so I didn't recognize myself like in the mirror, like at all. I would talk to myself in the mirror, do affirmations, look deeply in my eyes, and I would not recognize like who I was looking at,
I'm proud of you. You are a gorgeous individual inside and out.
You're my teacher I know you as Miss Dillon, right? Like, yes. You don't even know. This is full circle moment for me because I forget the name of the class that you taught with creative writing. It was something in regards to like creative writing. Honestly sparked my passion for writing. So I thank you for just igniting that in me as a team, this passion for writing and writing creatively, because I use it now in my business, when I'm writing my captions, when I'm creating my product descriptions. So I thank you.
Now tell me how to pronounce this so I don't mess it up. Is it KANARI?
KANARI. So it's a play on words, kind of a play on my name, Ariel, or Ari. My close friends, my family call me Ari, and I introduced myself to my brand, or to the people that support my brand, my followers, as Ari, because I want them to be my internet friends, my close friends that support this business. Like I said, a play on words for me to keep going. So it's like, keep going, Ari. That's kind of what KANARI stands for me, because it started as just a way for me to pour into my own self-love and self-care through botanical products. Like you were saying earlier, you shop for products, but you're maybe thinking about getting into more natural skincare. And I've always been into natural skincare. I'm blessed with great skin, so I'm grateful that I'm getting older. And so I noticed little things, maybe a wrinkle or like a line or, whatever. And so I wanted to figure out just a way to combat those, those maturity things that we get as we get older, embrace them, but, kind of figure out how to slow it down the more natural way. I started creating my own products, and that's how KANARI started.
Wow. Well, one, I do want to say that you do have amazing skin. And what I love about you is that on your social media, you will, bareface it, do a demonstration, and you looking like, wow. So because it's amazing. So it's really good when someone has a product and they're saying that, yes, I created this product and look what it's done for me. You're one of my former students, but you're one of my former students from my early years. So when
you were like new to, maybe I don't know, second year, you were new to teaching, I believe, when you started with us.
Yes, you're in my early years, because I'm saying, where I started teaching in 1999. But I graduated from high school in 1996.
Wow! Look, that's awesome. See, I didn't know.
Now we're aging you too, because if you're sixth grade, so I know where you are now.
Yes, I'm 31. I'm 31, going on 32 this year.
When I say that you have good skin and you really, because they're probably thinking like, yeah, she's like 20. Of course her skin. No, she's not.
No, a friend of mine, like I actually met her like online through KANARI. She followed the page when I was selling clothes. It started as clothing because I love fashion. I love clothes, and I have a background in that as well. I found my passion in skincare. So this friend, we met each other online. She supported the brand super early, exchanged numbers, and just were virtual friends. Just recently, out of maybe knowing her for 3 years, she asked like, how old are you? Or I asked how old she was, because she said something that was kind of young. She's like, I'm this age, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow. Hey, little sis, I'm 31. Like, she's like, wow, I thought you were like 20. I'm like, no, So, taking care of my skin early, watching what I consume. I drink a lot of tea. This is a new tea I'm working on. It's cute, it's blue. But just consuming the right things, you know, and really paying attention to what I put on my skin has helped, you know, my skin.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So yeah, you look like you're about 19, 20.
Thank you.
There's only a sense of maturity that comes from you, which is why I would not put you in high school. Although skin wise, you could totally be in high school. There's an extra little sense of intelligence that's going to say, okay, college, but easily undergrad, undergrad.
Yeah. This is awesome. I'm excited.
So tell me about what made you decide to go from fashion to do skincare. I don't know about your background, but a lot of people that I know that I grew up with, and again, we're from the same hometown, don't know where to start. Yeah. People have ideas, but where do I start? What gave you the idea of saying, hey, I want to do this, and now I'm going to do it?
So, like I said, KANARI really started from me wanting to fulfill my own void in self-care. I was working a job that I loved the company, but I wasn't fulfilled creatively. I, you know, in a relationship and just other obligations to my family. I'm, you know, stretching myself without pouring back into myself. And so, like I said, I had started dabbling with clothes and clothing lines. And so I knew about starting a business, lots of research, lots and lots of research is what it takes to really start like an e-commerce business. But with this one in particular, like I said, I have herbs at home, dried roses and spearmint, because I did make my own tea. My own blends and stuff. While making my own stuff, I thought like, okay, this is doing this for me. I'm feeling good drinking this tea. I'm feeling good putting my oils on daily. I'm feeling good putting my roses in my bath. I want other women to feel good. I want other people to feel good. Yes. Let me turn this into a brand. That goes back into just me being an entrepreneur at heart, me being a creative, wanting to create a brand. This one clicked so naturally because I was already doing it for myself. With skincare in particular, like I said, I didn't want to there's tons of products out there. Some great, some not so great. Sometimes we break out, you know, from products that we shouldn't be using, or we don't use them right. Yeah. Sometimes our skin is too sensitive to these harsh chemicals that are in products. And so I wanted to create my own product. And so I researched. It goes back to research, just learning, self-teaching, a lot of self-teaching. I've been studying herbal blends, essential oils, the benefits of essential oils, the benefits of different herbs when infused in oil for like 5 years now. With that knowledge combined with my PR background, combined with me starting websites in the past, you know, it just was natural for me to start KANARI and to push natural beauty, natural skincare regimens, and mindful self-care. So yeah.
Wow. I'm already inspired and just completely amazed with this tea. And the thing is, we do a tea thing on the show. Everyone's always like drinking, and it's tea. So when you get your tea, I'm going to promote your product on my show. Yeah, it just make it a thing because it's a tea. I even have a setup link where if someone likes the show, they can buy me a cup of tea, and then they just donate.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, we can get that KANARI tea. So I have some on my site.
So it will be the KANARI tea. So I have a business mentor academy. It's pretty much a school, and I mentor small business owners as well as people who just want to have a better mindset. A lot of the program with the business program is mindset too, because I feel like they go hand in hand. And that's what I loved about KANARI and how you came up with the name, because you're already doing a mindset trick where this is telling me to keep going.
Yes.
You put it in the name of your business. And it's things like that that helps people survive the long haul, because a lot of people start and then they stop and then they don't keep going.
I'm an entrepreneur at heart, right? So I have and a creative at heart. I love to create. I go to sleep dreaming about things, and I wake up with the idea, and I, go for it. And so I have a clothing line as well. I have a dog brand as well. I have my skincare, which I'm more passionate about, and so I'm focusing on that now. But I've tried all types of things in regards to e-commerce and starting a business. Like I said, I started in fashion when I graduated high school and went into college. I was an athlete. And I was heavily inspired by FloJo, right? I ran track, and so heavily inspired by FloJo and Marion Jones, and just the aesthetic of being a woman athlete, but also the way that they would dress and decorate or wear their uniforms is really what inspired me in regards to fashion and the art of it. And so I began to study it on my own in college. My major was marketing that turned into PR, public relations, so promoting and getting your brand name out there. So I learned a lot of that in college. And then I did a lot of internships in fashion. I went to New York for Teen Vogue for fashion. And so I did all these things, but I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to be in the fashion industry, whether I wanted to design, whether I wanted to be a stylist, because I tried that. And in the end, I fell in love with just branding and creating brands, and sourcing clothes, finding manufacturers that already created clothes or that could alter clothes that fit my aesthetic and fit my branding. So that's where KANARI came from. Originally it was a clothing line that had this aesthetic, and I was selling clothing, and I guess through all those years of pursuing fashion and pursuing the art, I think I don't know. I won't say I did it just to do it, because I was in love with it. I still love clothing. I still love fashion. But I wasn't extremely passionate about it. I wasn't waking up wanting to do more. At a certain point, I wasn't waking up wanting to learn more and, wanting to do more. It became kind of like a chore for me to get this brand off the ground, get this clothing line off the ground. And so when it became like a chore, I'm like, okay, I need to reassess, what I'm passionate about in life. This was maybe 25 years old. I was 25 and just trying to figure out what I wanted from my life. I had gone through just a bout with depression, and just dealing with the wrong type of people, men, friendships, and not having a solid base. It wasn't solid. I wasn't talking to my mom about the things that I should probably talk to her about, nor was I talking to my friends about it. I would kind of keep things in. And so through therapy and getting to know myself more at 25, I feel like I had a spiritual awakening at 25. I began to learn more about what I was really into, which was health and wellness. And I was vegan for 3 years, watching what I consume, whether it be internally, mentally, physically, whatever, TV, whatever, really learning about wellness, and which in turn turned into learning about herbs and how you can use herbs to treat yourself. And you can also use these botanicals and these herbs to create potions, essentially oils that can help your skin. So, I say all that to say I went through this maybe dark stage, not dark, but just the stage of learning myself and getting out of a depression that I found myself in, and turning that into just something that I was extremely passionate about, which is KANARI. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it definitely does. And I'm really impressed, because we talk about this a lot with different guests, especially somewhere in that self-love journey. Oftentimes it does involve going to therapy. And I'm, I'm still a generation ahead of you. So I'm not sure what the stigma may be, but it may be similar. But I was talking about it with an old classmate of mine, where we were brought up in the church. So going to therapy or going to, pay someone to talk to them, people frown upon that, or they would think like something is drastically wrong with you. But no, you just need to talk to someone. To me, that is a step that I hear from so many people. They got to where they are now, where they love themselves and they have a healthy relationship with themselves. They know how to treat themselves, and they know how to let other people treat them.
Yes,
because because they took that time and they went to therapy. So for you, again, this was pretty early. And I love it, because it seems like the younger generation is getting it sooner.
And and we can go deep if you want to go deep, but
so I'm just wondering, what was the point? Just what was the point that made you say, I want to go to therapy? Let me go and deal with this.
I think just as a young woman, experiencing life on her own, like navigating life on my own. Like I said, I love my mom, I love my dad, but I didn't necessarily talk to them about things. I after high school, I went to college, had my own place, and just kind of from there continued to have my own place. Never, lived at home with my mom again, and lived in DC. I moved to DC for a while. And then I moved to California. I drove across the country by myself.
Wow.
To California, and I've been here for 6 years now. So just experiencing life and navigating this journey on my own really forced me to I would say seek help, but go to therapy to talk to someone.
So many people, they don't ever make the decision, which is why I'm so proud of you. You have no clue how proud I am of you, because it takes a lot to be able to say, you wait a second. And you did that pretty early. I feel like most people, they keep going, they're going to have that moment, or they're going to at least feel it tugging on them. But for you to do that and get help and not try to do it on your own, it's an inspiration to me.
Thank you. Yeah.
It is, girl. Like, some people think self-love is like lovey-dovey stuff. It's not. It's just basically getting in tune with yourself, realizing what it is that you need, listening to that voice, and loving yourself enough to take action.
Yeah. Choosing yourself.
Right. Yeah, when it's right. But loving yourself enough to say, I'm not going to devote 20 more years in this situation, or 30 more years in this situation. I'm going to do what I know I should be doing. I'm going to follow my bliss, and everything will take care of itself.
Yeah. And that's really what happened and is happening for me. I'm a big believer in manifestation and prayer. And so, my first few sales, I manifested, like, very specifically spoke out what I wanted and received it. And so from there, I'm like, this is God given. Like, this is something that I should be pursuing and wholeheartedly, pushing my brand and sharing my story. That's why I was so excited to do your podcast, because this is my first time like sharing my story, or even doing a podcast talking about my brands.
Awesome. I think that's so good, because we need to hear more stories, because one of the things that I tell the women in my business mentorship academy is that oftentimes people are going to buy you. They're not just buying your product, they're buying you, they're buying your story, they're buying, like, even just hearing the reason behind the name, like KANARI didn't mean anything to me. And now every time I see it, I'm like, all right, keep going, Ari, keep going, Ari.
I want to share my story. I'm still a little camera shy. Even though I post videos and all this other stuff, I'm still a little camera shy because of certain situations that I have gone through. And so, you know, I think when I do break out of that a little bit more, I feel like I will inspire other people with my story. With the teas, like I have a tea on my website now. This is another one of the teas that I'm coming out with its butterfly pea flower. Pea, like the peas that we eat, but butterfly pea flower.
Wow.
That's the reason for this beautiful blue color. But the benefits in this are that it's calming. I was a little nervous before I got on. Like I said, this is my first podcast, first time talking about myself and my brand this in-depthly. So I was a little nervous, but this helps to calm any anxieties that you might have naturally. So, you know, I stand behind the products that I introduce to people, and I want it to inspire self-love and self-care for everybody. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the Self-Love Experience podcast. You have really
thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
You have fed us, you have fed our soul. I am going to get some of that blue tea, and I know what it's called, but I'm going to get some of it because, you know, my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta sorority, Incorporated. So
you got a rep, right?
We need to sip on the blue tea. I will tell my sorors. I will tell my frat brothers that drink tea as well.
Yes. You know, KANARI is for men too. I am all about women empowerment, and my page, my Instagrams may look, you know, super colorful and pretty, but a lot of men use my products, like, and they're like, my skin looks good, like your body oil, you know, it's so good. It could be a massage oil, and you know, so a lot of anyone.
Couples, all right, yes. Love it, love it, love it. So tell me, is Instagram your social media platform that you use the most for?
Yeah.
Can you just say what that is? I'm also going to have a link in the show notes, but I want people to find you. I want people to stay connected to you and support this amazing business.
So yes, absolutely. So my Instagram, my website, my Facebook is kanari.us. So KANARI.us. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and my website. I'm on Twitter as well, Canary Botanical Self-Care. So you can find me on there as well. And like I said, I'm starting the YouTube channel. It'll be Canary Botanical Self-Care. You can find me on there. Just say what's up. Just, you know, follow me, grow with me. So, you know, I'm excited.
I love it. I'm excited too. So I really hope that you feel like we have fed you, that we have just poured into your soul. I'm Shira Nicole, and this has been another episode of the Self-Love Experience. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a screenshot from your phone, take a picture of you watching us on, you know, your desktop, and send it to me. Send it to me, put it in your story on Instagram. I am at Mrs. Shira Nicole, and we can see if we can get like some free samples or something out to you, to the first 3 people who actually send me a screenshot. So share this episode with people that you know will need it, and just be someone who supports other people that's doing something, because that will come back to you. What's interesting, I am in my 22nd year teaching, and I keep looking up because I'm like, okay, is that right? That is right. That's right. It's been 22 years. I still love it. I'm still just as excited as I was way back in the very early 2000s when it was like 2000, 2001, 2002. You all come from my Gary years where I spent time teaching at Emerson, Lew Wallace, and Tolleson. Your class and I love all my kids, but your class was definitely one of those very memorable classes. I love you all so much, and I'm just so glad that when they invented Facebook, all of that, that so many people from your class found me, you friended me, and now I'm able to watch you all flourish and have your
Yes.
businesses and have your, you know, everything that people are doing. I'm able to still be a part of that, and I'm, you know, from afar, and I am just so thankful.